You know, a lot of people do say that trading the week of Thanksgiving is always a disaster, and you know what? They are correct. I put my first red weekend in almost 2 months today. But there was some good that came out of the week. You know, I finished on a good note. I had a really good day today. Give me some good confidence going into next week. But taking a look at the market here, so you can see we have this really nice rising wedge pattern forming here on SPY. So we only had $1.68 of movement today, which is probably the lowest range day think I've seen on SPY, and I mean probably well over a year. I don't even know. I've never seen it this low before. But you know, we got a short day. Surprisingly, volume really wasn't that bad overall. I mean, we actually had a decent amount of volume comparatively to the short day, but IV was just incredibly low today. IV hit 8% at one point. I've never seen it that low like recently. Super crazy. But so the biggest thing here, and if you really zoom in, you can see it. This is technically a gravestone doji. And the biggest thing I'm seeing here is we have a really nice 402.4 double top. And really, if you throw in this wick right here, this is actually a triple top. However, we did close a complete candle over the 200 EMA, and we have not done that since August 19th. So that's pretty bullish in that aspect. The one thing I'm watching, and I did decide to sit cash because I can see a case for puts and I can see a case for calls for Monday. So for the case for calls, as long as we hold over 402.4 on Monday, we're still holding this rising wedge, and that should open up the upside to 405.3. Overall, we held the 200 EMA here and we closed completely over it. So that is bullish, and we are riding this 8 EMA trend up. So really until we break the 8 EMA or even really this support line right here, there's really no reason to feel bearish right now. However, we know we're getting to the top. So for the bear case, you can see we kind of triple topped here. We lost momentum. We're nearing the top of the bear market resistance line right here and the top of the channel right here. So really, I'm expecting at best case scenario of 405.3. Maybe we go all the way up to 408 resistance test next week, and then I think we're going to start seeing a trace back down to the 390s personally. But I wouldn't really play anything long term until we can see the VIX breakdown here. So I'll talk about the VIX right now first. These marks, I've been talking about this highlights the last three peaks of the bear market. So we are nearing this red lower tier here, which we have our upper one too, of 19.7 to 16.5. Once we break through 19.7, then I'm going to start considering that the top is put in. So if Monday comes around and let's say we do touch 405.4, 405.3 area, and we have a nice rejection right here, and the VIX breaks to 19.7, honestly, I think that's a great place for maybe some like 30 or 60 DTE calls, especially with IV so low right now and premiums really cheap right now. Something else to keep in mind is really Monday and Tuesday, not a lot of economic data going on. Wednesday, Jay Powell is supposed to speak and take questions at a conference around, I think it's about 1:30ish. And Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, we have a ton of economic data. Ton of stuff about jobs. We got unemployment. We got jobs data. We have PCE, PMI. There's a lot of stuff coming through. GDP revision coming in on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So next week, I'm pretty much setting up that maybe Monday and Tuesday we kind of come up here and touch this 405.3 resistance. But I think by Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I think we're going to end up back down in this range. I would not be surprised to see a bigger sell-off come in next week, end of week. So looking at the weekly, same thing. We are holding this rising wedge here. I was saying before we had our peak, our short peak, which this should really be right here to be technical. Peak, short peak, and then we're looking for a peak. So if we're looking for a peak, we're looking right here at 410 really is the actual weekly resistance line. However, channel resistance remains at 408.9. So this is our area that we need to watch next week. If we start getting up in here and we lose all momentum and we start seeing pullbacks, kind of like this candle right here, then that's our chance to pounce. That's where we should be getting in on it. We should be grabbing some puts. However, if we break through and we start seeing 411, 412, Well, then we just broke the bear market trend line. And this is really the only trend line we have right now. It's got 3 touches on it, so it should be pretty strong and it shouldn't go down without a fight. But if we break through this, then I'm going to be looking for this 428 range maybe. I don't really think we're going to get it back up in this 450s range. It's possible, but I just don't think we have enough like good sentiment. There's still enough stuff going on in the next 2 weeks with this economic data, J Powell speaking. We have another CPI and FOMC. I just don't think we have enough just quite yet. Maybe soon, but I don't think it's time to go back up in the 430 to 450 range. I think max we can maybe see 428, but I still feel pretty strongly that we're going to reject this 408 to 410 line. We might get a fake breakthrough, maybe see like, 415 is another big level right here. We might see that before we reject, but I would be surprised to see us breaking much more up that way. But if we do lose this, our resistance is 403.3 for Monday. If we support. If we lose this weekly support, so that basically means if we don't open green on Monday and hold green, which is also this 50 weekly EMA right here, then we're going to see downturn. Once we break this rising wedge, which we've been in it for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 weeks really, we've been in this trend. Once we break this, it's going to open this downside. We still have gaps to fill down here in the 380 range from CPI. So I wouldn't be surprised to see this break and kind of come down here and test maybe the 390 range again. Looking at Fuchs, same thing here. The only big difference is we actually held the previous resistance right here of 40.33 as support now. So that's kind of interesting. It's a little bit different on futures than SPY. So on SPY here, you can see we have this really nice triple top here. But on futures, we're really looking at more of possibly a double top if you look at the 15th, but with the candle bodies, it actually really shows more upsides potential. So a big level we're going to be watching up there is at 40.90, and then downside is really going to be 39.10. Looking at the weekly, same thing here. We held the 20 weekly, but we could not break that 50 EMA on the weekly. So 40.50 is a huge level. You can see we really struggled for 2 weeks in a row here. And actually, interesting enough, it looks like we broke through, but we actually didn't even break through last week's high of 40.50.75. We fell short at 40.49.25. Sorry. So interesting level there. If we do pop through though, then we're going to keep an eye on that 40.85 level. And then the bear market resistance for futures is right here at 41.20. So looking at Tesla, so I had mentioned earlier in the week that Tesla has basically a pattern to its pops. I was saying, it's about from the sell-off, from the bottom of the pop to the top is about 4.2 days, and it's about 11.81%. Currently, we had a 1, 2, 3 day pop of 11.7%. I was targeting roughly 185.82, and we hit all the way at 185.2. So we pretty much hit it. However, as much as I was interested in taking puts right here, I decided not to. And the reason was that despite this nice 185.2 rejection right here, we did hold the 8 EMA. So that troubles me a little bit. Trend would say this is a double top rejection right here, and we should push back down. However, holding this 8 EMA and closing over it, I want to see what plays out on Monday. Now, same thing with SPY on Tesla here. We have to open over 185.2 and hold that in order to continue up and touch this resistance line, which is at 190 of this falling wedge right here that we've been in for quite a long time now. But this is the first time that we've closed over the daily 8 EMA since, well, I guess we closed over it yesterday, but twice in a row since up here, which was also the top. So basically, I just wanted to play it safe. There's nothing wrong with, waiting it out, kind of getting extra confirmation. So I'm going to see what Monday brings, but I'm going to be looking for a potential put opportunity here on Tesla. If the trend holds true, we should be looking for about another 6 to 7 day drop of about 17.8%, which really should put us pretty close to, sorry, I'm looking at my numbers real quick, should put us right about 152.2. So that means by December 6th, which is right here, we should be in this 152.2 range, which is right about here. The actual support line for this falling wedge is 150.6, so it's not far off trend-wise. So we could go up here. We could maybe even touch here Monday, and then we could start our trend down like this. Kind of something very similar to this, up, down. So that's kind of what I'm watching. However, on the weekly here, we do have a bear channel, and I'm watching this closely still. So we had I had one channel that I charted on here that I was using this support from here and here and projecting my bear channel, but I don't love the way the channel looked, mostly because this is a stronger resistance using these 2 points than the projected resistance. So what I'm looking for Monday is that pretty much 185.3 is our resistance line. If we break through this, and especially if we can break through the 200 EMA at 187.9, then that really does open some upside, and we could start thinking about maybe retesting 207 resistance. So but if we continue to reject, and especially if we get a hard weekly rejection off this resistance line, I mean, we're going to be starting to talk about maybe even next week, 155, or the week after, puts us right at that 152.1 level that I was talking about. So weekly trend-wise, we're right on point here, hitting that 152 level. I already talked about the VIX. Looking at Bitcoin here, just a quick update. We're very, very flat. We're kind of look like we're getting into another one of these patterns right here. We had a big dump, and then we just chop for who knows how long. That's pretty much what's happening with Bitcoin right now. Not a lot of movement, not enough to be able to make a play. Big levels to watch is 17.6 and 15.7. I hope you guys had a good week, and I will see you guys next week. Thanks for tuning to this video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button to stay updated to my videos. This is the Lifetime Discord link. If that does not work, go ahead and drop me a comment or send me a message and I'll get you a new one. On the Discord, I do pre-market update with key supports and resistance from overnight. I also do live analysis and commentary throughout the day on SPY and Tesla. And I also do my live alerts for call-outs for plays that you guys see in my daily log. You can follow me on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Reddit under Daddy Dersh.